For over 50,000 years, the Hadza tribe of Tanzania has lived as one of the last true hunter-gatherer societies on Earth. Their way of life remains largely unchanged, offering a glimpse into the survival methods of our ancient ancestors. In a world where modern technology dominates, the Hadza continue to rely on their traditional hunting skills, deep knowledge of the land, and communal way of living. Today, we explore how they have thrived for thousands of years, resisting the influences of modernization and preserving their ancestral heritage. The Hadza tribe is one of the last remaining groups of true hunter-gatherers in the world, and their way of life has remained largely unchanged for over 50,000 years. This means that they have been living in the same region of East Africa, practicing the same survival techniques, since before the rise of agriculture and modern civilization. Unlike many indigenous groups that have adapted to farming, trade, or urbanization, the Hadza have resisted these changes and continue to live as their ancestors did, relying entirely on nature for their sustenance. Their lifestyle provides a rare and invaluable glimpse into humanity's prehistoric past. The Hadza's existence closely mirrors how early humans lived before the advent of permanent settlements and organized societies. They do not build permanent homes, but instead construct simple grass huts that can be abandoned and rebuilt elsewhere. They're small, nomadic groups, typically consisting of 20 to 30 people, move from place to place based on the availability of food and water. This mobility allows them to avoid overexploiting any single area and ensures a continuous supply of natural resources. What makes the Hadza truly unique is that they have remained relatively untouched by external influences for thousands of years. While neighboring tribes and societies transitioned to farming, herding, and industrialization, the Hadza continued their traditional way of life, resisting assimilation. Even today, they do not cultivate crops, herd livestock, or engage in large-scale trade with outsiders. Their diet, tools, and hunting methods have been passed down through countless generations, preserving a direct link to the ways of early Homo sapiens. This ancient lifestyle is not just a matter of tradition. It is a testament to their deep understanding of the natural world. The Hadza possess an intimate knowledge of the land, its plants, animals, and seasonal patterns. Their ability to thrive in a harsh and unpredictable environment without modern technology or infrastructure highlights their resilience and adaptability. This unique way of life has attracted the attention of anthropologists and researchers who study the Hadza to learn more about how early humans survived and interacted with their environment. However, despite their incredible ability to maintain this ancient existence, the Hadza face growing challenges. Modernization, land development, and increasing contact with the outside world threaten to disrupt their traditional way of life. As the surrounding lands are converted for agriculture and settlements expand, the Hadza's hunting grounds shrink, making it harder for them to sustain themselves through their time-honored practices. The Hadza's ability to live as their ancestors did for over 50,000 years is a remarkable feat of human endurance, intelligence, and adaptability. They are not just a living relic of the past, but a reminder of the simplicity and effectiveness of traditional survival methods. Their story challenges us to reflect on the changes humanity has undergone and what we might learn from a people who have found balance with nature for millennia. The Hadza tribe is one of the last remaining groups on Earth that live entirely as hunter-gatherers, meaning they do not depend on farming, livestock, or modern conveniences for their survival. Unlike most societies that have transitioned to agriculture and industrialized food production, the Hadza continue to rely solely on nature to provide for their daily needs. This self-sufficient way of life has sustained them for over 50,000 years, making them one of the longest surviving cultures on the planet. One of the most remarkable aspects of Hadza survival is that they do not store food for the future. They live in the moment, gathering and hunting only what they need for the day. This lifestyle is vastly different from agricultural societies, where food is grown, harvested, stored, and distributed over time. The Hadza do not have farms, granaries, or refrigeration. Instead, They trust in their deep knowledge of the land and their ability to find food whenever necessary. The Hadza diet is varied and depends entirely on the natural resources available to them. The men focus primarily on hunting wild animals, using handmade bows and poison-tipped arrows to bring down antelope, birds, and even small mammals. They are skilled in tracking their prey, using footprints, disturbed foliage, and even the behavior of birds to locate animals. Their ability to read the land allows them to be incredibly efficient hunters, ensuring that their families have a steady supply of protein. While men hunt, Hadza women are responsible for gathering plant-based foods. They collect a variety of wild fruits, berries, tubers, and honey. Tubers, underground root vegetables similar to yams or potatoes, are a crucial food source, as they provide energy and are available even in times of scarcity. Women also gather honey, which is considered a delicacy and a high-energy food source. They have a unique relationship with the honey guide bird, which helps lead them to beehives in exchange for a portion of the honeycomb. Because the Hadza do not farm or domesticate animals, their survival is entirely dependent on their environment. They must constantly move to areas where food and water are available, making them a nomadic people. Unlike farmers, who stay in one place and cultivate the land, the Hadza travel in small groups, setting up temporary shelters made from branches and grass. This allows them to adapt quickly to seasonal changes and avoid depleting natural resources in any one area. Their reliance on the natural world has shaped their entire way of life. They do not accumulate material possessions, and they do not seek to control or alter their environment the way agricultural societies do. Instead, they work in harmony with nature, taking only what they need and ensuring that resources remain available for the future. The Hadza's self-sufficient survival is a remarkable testament to human adaptability. Their deep knowledge of hunting, gathering, and the rhythms of nature has allowed them to exist for thousands of years without outside assistance. While the rest of the world has moved toward industrialization and dependence on modern conveniences, the Hadza have shown that a purely natural way of life is not only possible, but also sustainable. The Hadza tribe is renowned for their exceptional hunting skills, which have been passed down for thousands of generations. Unlike modern societies that rely on grocery stores or domesticated livestock for food, the Hadza depend entirely on their ability to hunt wild game to sustain themselves. Their deep understanding of animal behavior, tracking techniques, and weapon craftsmanship makes them some of the most skilled hunters in the world. Hadza men take on the primary responsibility of hunting, and from a young age, boys are taught the essential skills needed to track, stalk, and take down animals. They use traditional weapons, mainly bows and arrows, which they craft by hand using materials found in their environment. The bows are made from strong, flexible wood, while the arrows are tipped with sharp bone or metal. Some arrows are even coated with poison derived from local plants, making them lethal against larger animals. Their hunting methods are highly strategic. The Hadza do not simply wander through the wilderness hoping to stumble upon prey. Instead, they use advanced tracking techniques to locate animals before they even see them. By examining footprints, disturbed grass, broken twigs, and even animal droppings, they can determine the size, direction, and speed of an animal's movement. They also pay close attention to the behavior of birds and other wildlife, as these can often signal the presence of game. One of the most remarkable aspects of Hadza hunting is their patience and endurance. Unlike modern hunters who rely on firearms or traps, the Hadza must get close enough to their prey to ensure a successful shot. This requires incredible stealth, as they must move silently through the bush, avoiding detection by the keen senses of their targets. Sometimes, they must follow an animal for hours, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Their endurance allows them to track injured animals over long distances until they finally weaken and collapse. The Hadza's diet is heavily dependent on their hunting success, and they target a variety of animals. Antelope, warthogs, and birds are some of their primary sources of meat, but they will also hunt baboons and smaller mammals if necessary. The meat is shared among the group, reinforcing their communal lifestyle. When a successful hunt takes place, it is not just a personal victory, it is a victory for the entire tribe. Interestingly, Hadza hunters also have a remarkable ability to adapt to their surroundings. During certain times of the year, when larger game is scarce, they shift their focus to smaller animals such as rodents or birds. They may even use traps or other hunting techniques that require less energy investment. This adaptability ensures that they never go completely without food, even in times of difficulty. Their expertise in hunting is not just about acquiring food. It is a deep cultural practice that defines their identity. Young boys grow up idolizing the best hunters, and skills are passed down through generations. The pride and respect associated with being a skilled hunter motivate Hadza men to perfect their craft, ensuring that their ancient traditions remain intact. One of the most astonishing aspects of the Hadza tribe's survival is their extraordinary ability to track animals across vast and rugged landscapes. Unlike modern hunters, who rely on firearms, GPS technology, and hunting dogs, the Hadza depend entirely on their deep understanding of the natural world to locate and successfully hunt their prey. Their tracking skills are not just a learned technique. They are an essential part of their culture, passed down through generations and refined over thousands of years. From a young age, Hadza boys are taught how to read the subtle signs left behind by animals. They learn to examine footprints in the soil, determine the freshness of droppings, and recognize disturbances in the grass or broken branches that indicate recent movement. These skills allow them to track animals long before they come into sight. Unlike many modern hunters, who rely on waiting in one place for animals to appear, Hadza hunters actively pursue their prey, following tracks for miles across the Tanzanian wilderness. Their knowledge of the land is so precise that they can distinguish between different species just by looking at a footprint. For example, they can tell the difference between the tracks of a gazelle, an impala, or a warthog, even if the footprints are partially erased by wind or rain. Not only can they identify the species, but they can also determine the size, speed, and even the condition of the animal, whether it is injured, pregnant, or exhausted. These insights allow them to decide whether the hunt is worth the effort and how best to approach their target. The Hadza also understand how animals behave in different environments and at different times of the day. They know where animals are likely to find water, where they rest, and what paths they frequently travel. By using this knowledge, they can anticipate movements and set up ambushes at the most strategic locations. For instance, if they find fresh tracks leading to a watering hole, they may choose to wait nearby, knowing that the animal will return later in the day. Another fascinating aspect of Hadza tracking is their ability to interpret non-visual signs in nature. They often rely on the behavior of birds and other small animals to locate larger prey. The Hadza have a special relationship with the greater honey guide bird, which leads them to beehives hidden in trees. Similarly, they watch for vultures circling in the sky, which can indicate a freshly killed animal that may still have edible meat. Tracking is not just about finding animals. It is about patience, endurance, and deep environmental awareness. Hadza hunters may track a wounded animal for hours, sometimes even days, following its weakened trail until it is exhausted and can no longer escape. This technique, known as persistence hunting, was once common among early human societies but has largely disappeared in the modern world. These tracking skills are critical to the Hadza's survival. Without them, hunting would be nearly impossible, and their food supply would be uncertain. Their ability to interpret nature with such accuracy is a testament to the deep intelligence and adaptability of humans before modern technology. One of the most unique aspects of the Hadza tribe's way of life is their complete rejection of wealth accumulation and material possessions. Unlike modern societies, where success is often measured by the amount of money, land, or resources one owns, the Hadza live with an entirely different mindset, one that prioritizes immediate needs over long-term storage or accumulation. This system of living has shaped their culture, social structure, and even their relationship with the environment. The Hadza do not build permanent homes, stockpile food, or collect valuable objects. Instead, they live day by day, taking only what they need from the land and moving on when resources become scarce. Their dwellings are simple, temporary structures made from branches and grass, which can be abandoned and rebuilt as they migrate in search of food and water. This nomadic lifestyle prevents them from gathering more than they can carry and ensures that no individual or family accumulates excessive resources at the expense of others. Because they rely on hunting and gathering, the Hadza do not see the need to store food for future use. Meat from a successful hunt is shared immediately among the entire group, with no expectation of repayment or debt. This communal sharing is a fundamental part of their survival, reinforcing strong social bonds and eliminating competition over resources. Unlike in agricultural societies, where food is stored and wealth can be inherited, the Hadza's system ensures that everyone has access to the necessities of life regardless of individual hunting success. This rejection of wealth accumulation also means that the Hadza have no formal hierarchy or ruling class. There are no chiefs, kings, or designated leaders among them. Decisions are made collectively, and respect is earned through skills and knowledge rather than through material possessions. A skilled hunter may be admired for his abilities, but he does not gain any permanent status or authority over others. This level of social equality is rare in the modern world and is a defining characteristic of Hadza society. Additionally, the Hadza do not participate in trade or commerce in the way most societies do. While they occasionally barter small items with neighboring tribes or outsiders, they have no concept of money or personal wealth. Their economy is based entirely on nature's immediate offerings, and they see no need to accumulate goods beyond what is necessary for survival. This stands in stark contrast to agricultural and industrial societies, where wealth accumulation leads to social divisions, economic inequality, and political power struggles. Their way of life also has significant environmental benefits. Because they do not store food, overhunt, or overexploit resources, the Hadza live in harmony with their surroundings. They take only what they need, allowing animal populations and plant life to regenerate naturally. This sustainable approach has enabled them to survive in the same region for tens of thousands of years without depleting their environment, a lesson modern civilizations could learn from. Despite the pressures of modernization, the Hadza have largely resisted the influence of money and material wealth. Many outside groups have tried to introduce farming, livestock, and trade to the Hadza, but these efforts have often failed because the Hadza see little value in long-term accumulation. Their belief in communal sharing and their focus on the present rather than the future set them apart from most other human societies. The Hadza tribe's way of life is built on a foundation of unity, cooperation, and mutual support. Unlike modern societies, where individual success and personal wealth often dictate social standing, the Hadza operate as a tightly knit group where everyone shares responsibilities and resources. Their survival depends not on competition but on collaboration, reinforcing a strong sense of community that has endured for thousands of years. One of the key aspects of Hadza social life is their system of communal sharing. In Hadza culture, everything is shared among the group, whether it's food, tools, or shelter. A successful hunt does not mean that only the hunter's family eats. Instead, the entire group benefits. When a hunter returns with an animal, the meat is divided and distributed equally among all members of the camp, ensuring that no one goes hungry. There is no concept of hoarding or private ownership of food, and no one is left behind, even if they were unsuccessful in hunting or gathering that day. This strong sense of sharing extends beyond food. The Hadza also share tools, weapons, and even childcare duties. Women work together to gather food, and if one mother is busy or unable to care for her child at a particular moment, others step in to help. This collective approach to survival strengthens the bonds between tribe members, creating a deep trust and reliance on one another. Another unique aspect of Hadza society is their lack of rigid hierarchy. Unlike many societies that have kings, chiefs, or leaders who make decisions for the group, the Hadza operate in a more egalitarian manner. Decisions are made collectively through discussion, and respect is earned through skill, wisdom, and generosity rather than by force or inheritance. There are no official laws or punishments, but social harmony is maintained through mutual respect and shared values. If conflicts arise, they are usually resolved through conversation rather than violence or authority. This lack of hierarchy also means that Hadza men and women have relatively equal roles in society. While men primarily hunt and women primarily gather, both contribute equally to the group's survival. Women play a crucial role in providing food, as gathered plants, berries, and tubers make up a large portion of the Hadza diet. Their contributions are valued just as much as the hunters, reinforcing the idea that everyone has an important role to play. The Hadza's nomadic lifestyle also plays a role in their strong sense of community. Because they do not build permanent homes or accumulate wealth, they must rely on one another for survival. They move as a unit, setting up temporary camps based on the availability of food and water. This mobility fosters a deep connection between tribe members, as they must always work together to find resources and protect one another. Another key part of Hadza community life is their oral tradition. Without a written language, their history, knowledge, and cultural values are passed down through storytelling. Elders teach younger generations about hunting techniques, the behavior of animals, the locations of the best food sources, and even the spiritual significance of their surroundings. These shared stories not only preserve Hadza history, but also reinforce a sense of belonging and identity within the group. In modern society, individualism often takes priority over communal living, but the Hadza demonstrate the power of cooperation. Their survival depends on their ability to work together, share resources, and support one another. This deep-rooted sense of community has allowed them to thrive for thousands of years, proving that human connection and collaboration are just as important as skill and endurance in the struggle for survival. The Hadza tribe has an unparalleled relationship with the natural world, one that has remained unchanged for over 50,000 years. Unlike modern societies that rely on technology, industrial agriculture, and artificial infrastructure, the Hadza depend entirely on their deep knowledge of the environment for survival. Their connection to nature is not just about sustenance. It shapes every aspect of their daily lives, from hunting and gathering to shelter, medicine, and even their spiritual beliefs. One of the most remarkable aspects of the Hadza's connection to nature is their intimate understanding of the land. They have no maps, GPS devices, or written records, yet they navigate vast, rugged landscapes with incredible precision. They know where water sources are located, which plants are safe to eat, and which areas are best for hunting. This knowledge is not taught in schools, but is passed down through generations by direct experience. Young Hadza children learn to recognize animal tracks, identify edible berries, and understand the seasonal cycles of plants and wildlife from an early age. Their ability to read nature goes far beyond simple survival skills. The Hadza can detect changes in the wind, temperature, and sky to predict weather patterns. They know when the rains are coming, when certain animals will migrate, and when specific fruits will ripen. This deep awareness allows them to adapt to their environment in ways that modern humans, who rely on weather forecasts and digital information, often struggle to do. The Hadza also have an extraordinary knowledge of medicinal plants. Without hospitals or pharmacies, they rely entirely on the healing properties of the plants around them. They use certain roots and leaves to treat wounds, relieve pain, and even cure illnesses. For instance, some plants are used as antiseptics to prevent infections, while others help with digestion or boost energy levels. This traditional medicinal knowledge has been refined over thousands of years, and it is an essential part of their survival in the wild. Another key element of their deep connection to nature is their relationship with animals. The Hadza do not see animals as mere prey, but as vital parts of the ecosystem. They understand the behavior of every species they encounter, from the way antelopes move to the nesting habits of birds. They even interact with animals in ways that benefit both species. A perfect example is their relationship with the honey guide bird, which leads them to hidden beehives. The Hadza follow the bird's calls, and, once they harvest the honey, they leave some for the bird, a a rare example of cooperation between humans and wildlife. Their respect for nature also extends to their hunting practices. Unlike industrial hunting, which often leads to overexploitation, the Hadza only hunt what they need. They do not waste food, and they do not kill for sport. They understand that overhunting could disrupt the balance of the ecosystem, so they take only what is necessary to sustain themselves and their group. This sustainable approach has allowed them to coexist with the environment for thousands of years without causing permanent damage. The Hadza's spiritual beliefs are also deeply tied to nature. While they do not follow organized religions or have temples, they view the natural world with reverence. They believe that certain landscapes, trees, or animals have spiritual significance. The night sky, the movement of the stars, and the changing of the seasons all play a role in their oral traditions and storytelling. Their way of life is a reflection of this belief. They take only what they need, waste nothing, and live in harmony with their surroundings. In a world that is increasingly disconnected from nature, the Hadza serve as a reminder of what it means to live in true harmony with the environment. Their way of life proves that humans can thrive without destroying the land, and their deep respect for nature is a lesson that modern civilizations could learn from. The Hadza tribe is not just a group of skilled hunter-gatherers. They are a living window into humanity's distant past. For over 50,000 years, they have continued to live in the same way that early humans did, making them one of the last remaining societies that still practice a completely traditional hunter-gatherer lifestyle. In a world dominated by agriculture, technology, and urbanization, the Hadza stand as a rare example of what life was like before the rise of civilization. Unlike most human societies, which have undergone rapid changes due to farming, industry, and globalization, the Hadza have remained largely unchanged. They do not rely on domesticated animals, planted crops, or manufactured goods. Instead, they depend entirely on their ability to hunt wild game, gather edible plants, and move with the seasons to find the best resources. Their way of life mirrors that of early Homo sapiens, making them one of the closest links we have to our ancestors. Their lack of permanent settlements is a key part of their ancient lifestyle. The Hadza do not build large villages or permanent homes. Instead, they live in small, temporary shelters made from branches and grass, which can be easily abandoned and rebuilt elsewhere when resources become scarce. This mobility allows them to avoid exhausting the land, a practice that was once common among prehistoric human groups. Their constant movement ensures that they never overhunt an area or deplete the natural food supply, making their way of life remarkably sustainable. Another remarkable aspect of their ancient way of life is their Stone Age technology. Hadza hunters craft their own bows and arrows, just as early humans did thousands of years ago. The bows are made from tough, flexible wood, and the arrows are often tipped with sharp bones or metal scavenged from modern sources. In some cases, they even use poison-tipped arrows, coating them with toxic substances from local plants to increase their effectiveness against larger animals. This use of natural tools and weapons is a direct link to how early humans survived before the invention of metalworking and industrial manufacturing. Their oral tradition also connects them to the past in a way that modern societies often overlook. Without a written language, Hadza history is passed down through stories, songs, and spoken lessons. Elders teach the younger generation about hunting techniques, the behavior of animals, and the locations of important food sources. Through storytelling, knowledge is preserved across generations, ensuring that valuable survival skills are never lost. This method of knowledge transfer was once universal among early human societies before the development of writing, making the Hadza one of the few groups that still preserve this ancient tradition. The Hadza also demonstrate an ancient way of social organization that predates kings, governments, and formal laws. They have no rulers or chiefs. Decisions are made collectively, and leadership is based on skill, wisdom, and contribution rather than inherited power. This egalitarian structure reflects the way early human groups functioned before the rise of hierarchical civilizations. There are no jails, courts, or official punishments. Yet their society remains stable due to mutual respect and cooperation. Even their diet reflects the habits of early humans. Unlike agricultural societies that depend on grains and domesticated livestock, the Hadza eat what nature provides. Their diet consists of hunted meat, wild berries, tubers, and honey, foods that our distant ancestors would have also relied on. Many scientists and anthropologists believe that studying the Hadza's diet can provide insights into the original human diet before the advent of farming. For researchers and historians, the Hadza offer a rare opportunity to study a lifestyle that closely resembles that of prehistoric humans. They serve as a living link to humanity's origins, helping us understand how early humans adapted, survived, and thrived in the wild long before modern civilization took shape. In a world that is constantly evolving, where technology and urbanization shape the way we live, the Hadza stand as a powerful reminder of humanity's origins. Their deep connection to nature, their sustainable way of life, and their resilience in the face of modern pressures highlight the extraordinary adaptability of the human spirit. However, as the modern world continues to expand, the Hadza's way of life faces increasing challenges. Encroaching farmland, government policies, and outside influences threaten their traditional lifestyle. Yet, despite these pressures, the Hadza remain steadfast in their ancient traditions, refusing to be molded by a world that operates so differently from their own. Their story is not just one of survival. It is a testament to the enduring strength of human culture and the profound wisdom that comes from living in harmony with nature. The Hadza are more than just a tribe. They are a living bridge to the past, offering us invaluable lessons about resilience, sustainability, and the true essence of what it means to be human. Whether or not their way of life can continue unchanged for another 50,000 years remains uncertain, but their legacy will forever be a vital part of our shared human history.